I'm a tradesman that learnt marketing. I'm not a marketer that's trying to learn construction. Exactly. There is a massive, massive difference.
I want some fucking leads.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell me?
You got the wrong guy. No one cares.
Yeah, that's my motto. No one cares.
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares until they care. Leads and content at the end. That's the end of the process.
Welcome back to The Build Up. I'm Dan, the creative director at Dissident, and today I'm joined by Lee Fuller, who is from Level Up Media. Lee's an ex-bricklayer, built up his business to a really decent size and has turned his hand into marketing, but from all the things that he learned marketing that business. What I love about Lee's kind of approach is he is a genuine tradie. He's come from that industry. He understands the problems that tradespeople have in not only like generating business, but also still trying to do the work that they need to do day to day. What's really cool about Lee is he's kind of like the antidote for those kind of I can get you X amount of leads per month type agencies. Lee's approach isn't about generating tons and tons of leads. His focus is on making sure that his clients have proper positioning, tone of voice, and all of the sort of sales processes in hand before we start to generate leads. So that's a really interesting approach that I'm not actually seeing a lot of with all of the ads that are coming up for tradespeople about generating leads and stuff. So that's really, really cool. Really interesting episode. Check it out. Lee, thank you very much. My Carhartt brother, we've both come in rocking the Carhartt today. Thank you so much for traveling and being on the podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about Level Up Media, how that started? I'm really interested in kind of your transition from tradesperson to kind of what you do now. Yeah,
of course. So bricklayer for 21 years, straight out of school, 16, straight on site with a trowel in my hand. And I set up Thames Valley Brickwork when I was probably 24.
Okay.
But not really properly, do you know what I mean? Like I gave it a go and I was doing everything. So I was doing extensions, garden walls, new builds, so forth and so on. We had some luxury builds on the go, but I was running around like a lunatic and I made myself quite poorly actually.
Oh, really?
And I just was paying the wages one Friday. I was about 27 maybe, something like that. And I just thought, you know what, I've had enough. I was drinking at the time. I'm recovering now, but I was drinking at the time and I was hiring lads from the pub and it was chaos. Yeah. And I just decided one day that I was done and I wanted to film documentaries and go around the world. And I'd never picked a camera up in my life. Okay. And I went to Met Film School at Ealing Studios and done cinematography. And then started shooting music videos and promos and all that stuff. And the opportunity presented itself again to set up the brickwork company, or to build one house actually it was. And I thought, I'll do it. And I've done it. And I thought, you know what would happen if I led with content?
Yes.
And it was before that I definitely didn't do the filmmaking to do the content. It just presented itself. And we were content led and we started YouTube and done quite well on there. And I was able to jockey myself into a position where I had to pick a luxury work locally. And then, from there, really, from a dead start using one platform and one message, we were able to get about 3 million quid's worth of inquiries in year one from working for somebody else, right? From a dead start. Just using LinkedIn. No paid ads, no nothing, just LinkedIn and the correct messaging and positioning. And then I had some heavy family stuff go on with my little one. And a friend of mine, he's still a client, came to me and said, can you do for me online what you've done for yourself? I thought, maybe, let's see. And I'd done it and it went to the moon and I'd done it again and we rinsed and repeated it and the agency was born. Obviously the landscape has changed a lot since then. And we're a fully fledged agency now and make a lot of money for a lot of people. I was just giving it a go. Do you know what I mean? I understood the fundamentals of marketing, content and messaging and positioning. And I coupled all that together and the rest is history, as they say.
So you're an accidental agency owner?
Yeah, 100%. I actively try to not set this business up. Like my ex-partner now, but we started it together. She was like, we should start an agency. And I was just like, nah, I have no interest in that at all. But I love helping people and we can touch on my recovery if you want, but I love helping people. And I saw that what we were doing for people was really helping.
Yes.
No one knew, tradesmen don't, as a rule, understand the digital landscape and how to get in front of their dream clients. And we were able to really quickly position trade businesses as the preferred contractor in their area.
Yes.
And it just grew legs and I love it now.
Do you feel like you've got a unique perspective? Because I put a post out the other day that was something along the lines of like, I feel like at the moment, tradespeople are getting inundated, as all other businesses have been inundated with the, can you take on more work? Can you handle 20 qualified leads per week and blah, blah, blah. And it's like a load of marketers have basically just been able to rinse and repeat the same message over and over and over again. But a lot of them, you can tell, I'm just like, you ain't a tradesperson.
Yep.
Like, and I feel like that's going to make a difference because, as you said, tradespeople, depending on the trade, they're really not like well suited to doing their own marketing. It's a very specific business that doesn't allow for a lot of office time. It doesn't allow you're cracking on all the time, right? Do you feel like your background has given you a unique perspective, not just on the industry, but how to have a bit of empathy for the guys that are actually doing the work?
100%. Everyone that comes to me has been ripped off.
Yeah.
I got ripped off, which is why part of the reason that we do what we do, right?
Okay.
Construction is a different animal. It has its own language, its own tone. And if you haven't operated in that world, it is next to impossible to speak that language correctly. And it is the reason that marketing agencies, they see a gap in the market because of what you just described there, that tradesmen aren't necessarily up to speed online, and they step into it. Now, where we're very different is I'm a tradesman that learnt marketing. I'm not a marketer that's trying to learn construction.
Exactly.
There is a massive, massive difference. I live and breathe it. I know the game inside out. I know how businesses do business, B2B, do business, and I also know how the tradesmen do business. And actually, one of our first clients was a public company brand that came to me because they couldn't sell to tradesmen.
Yes.
Because they can sell to tradesmen, but they wanted to increase their sales. And when you are a corporate business selling to the boots on the ground, you need to be able to understand the language.
Yeah.
So as a dyslexic, alcoholic bricklayer, they came to me and said, "Can you sell more products for us?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I'm dyslexic, right? But I get paid to speak construction.
Yes.
Because it's a different beast, and unless you're from it, you can't do it.
Oh, you got to understand your market, right?
100%.
If you're going to sell to them, you have to understand
100%.
your market. As the so when you first, we go back to that mate that you had that you gave great success to. Has that formula changed much since then, or was it one of those things where you're like, no, this is the fundamentals, and we sort of stick with this?
So the fundamentals are the same.
Yeah.
So positioning and messaging are the same because his ICP is currently the same, unless he decides to pivot or change. His ideal client, that is. But the landscape of marketing has changed because of AI's come in, and LinkedIn was his platform. It still is, to be fair, but it's moving towards pay to play. It's trying to be meta. It's making a bit of a hash of it at the moment. It's not. LinkedIn paid ads aren't great at the moment.
They're very expensive, aren't they?
We got in with him at the right time.
Yes.
The timing is important. And look, I built this agency using LinkedIn, posting for my clients 3 times a week organically and scaling them, right? That model doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
It needs to be coupled with outbound. We got in at the right time. We built his network out correctly with his ideal clients, and he's still getting success, and it is still worth the money. He's still making a lot of money off the back of what we do for him. I actually don't offer that service anymore.
Okay.
I've discontinued that organic LinkedIn package, because what we do now as a business is, if you're doing, say, £500,000 and you're B2C, we'll run your meta paid ads for you. If you have a team, say you're B2B, and you want builders, developers, all of that stuff, we'll come in and we'll train your in-house team. Yes. Because it's just not cost effective to pay an agency X amount a month as a retainer to get the results. It just takes so long to get organic results now, because organic marketing is really, really difficult at the minute.
It's tough,
even for
it?
someone with a profile and a presence. So that the model that the service that we provide him doesn't exist for me anymore. Mm-hmm. Some people still do it, but I'm all about results. I'm not interested in just social media management, as it were. Like, for me, it's about campaigns and return, ROI.
Yeah, I mean, organic social is one of those kind of like tough sells that's like, for the most part, obviously it's important for big brands. Yeah. Organic is still important because it's, absolutely, especially if you built a big following, there's still there's a need for that kind of well-positioned, mm-hmm, well-branded strategic communication, but it's not going to move the needle for sales. And B2B is kind of okay in some respects. Like B2B2C, like if you're marketing to the end user, but then the end user is going to a distributor, which is typically our model. Organic works really well because it's like brand awareness, but when you're a trades business, that's like you need to get work. It's a little bit trickier.
It didn't used to be. Like I say, I built Thames Valley Brickwork in a year, and I got those numbers off of 3 posts a week organically. Right,
Yes.
Organic LinkedIn was a powerhouse, and it still is to a certain extent. I think there's a space in that market for someone else to come in and take the B2B market. Like, I don't think LinkedIn's got long if it carries on the way it's going. I think someone else will come into that space and do it better than they are. But it is still important. I do say to people, because 80% of your audience aren't ready to buy just yet, right? They're looking, they're browsing. That they might have some a project that's going through plans, right?
Yes.
They're not ready. So uploading organic content is important. Now, if you're B2C, so if you're on Meta, so you sell to homeowners, for example, you still need to be doing organic content as well, right? But you can almost bypass it to a certain extent, because you can run ads, you can get in front of the right people straight away with the right messaging, and get them into your ecosystem with lead generators and all that stuff. With B2B, if you're a new company, or you're a young business, or you're just starting your marketing journey, you haven't really got that many options, because LinkedIn is where you need to be. So I still say to people, like, it is still really important to market on LinkedIn if you're B2B.
Yeah.
But like I say, we now train in-house teams to do it. It's just not cost effective to pay an agency to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're a one-man band or whatever, you're just starting up, I'd still, and I'm big on Dan, I'm big as well on like maximum return on time. We're all busy, do you know what I mean? So maybe get your partner up to speed on it, or just do 3 posts a week and then a bit of outbound when you get time. But there's loads and loads of things you can do. But it's just organic is a slog, whichever way you look at it. And it didn't used to be, which meant I had to pivot my business completely. Yeah. Because we were an organic marketing agency, and it worked really well, and we added millions in revenue, but that model is dead.
It's like you said, it's pay to play now, isn't
100%.
it? And
you're right with brands as well. Absolutely. We work with a couple, and it's really important. Brand awareness is important. They need to be people's faces. Absolutely. For me, you just get much quicker returns on paid advertising.
You've got to. It's got to be part of your model. I mean, I was speaking. There's a brand who I won't name, who I know. The marketing manager doesn't believe in paid social, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't believe in it? It's not a religion. It's a thing that needs to happen. They happen to be one of the biggest brands in their particular field. So, but that won't be the same forever.
Yeah, not for long. That's got a shelf life.
Yeah,
and I've seen that. I've literally seen that happen. It's that sort of mindset that, and I don't know them, and it's not probably not my place to say.
We'll talk about them after.
Yeah.
It'll slag them off after.
But that has got a shelf life, because everyone is moving towards paid advertising, and it works. And what I will say is, if you're running paid ads, whether you're a brand or you're a contractor, it is also the fastest way to lose money. Yes. If you haven't nailed your ICP and your messaging and your sales process, and we can touch on that. But it is a powerhouse. But there's no two ways about it. Paid advertising works.
I'm going to go straight into like, what are you seeing tradespeople doing that's wrong? What like if you could nail down what's the stuff that you wish you could change straight away, that you see most commonly in their marketing, their social media, whatever. What would it be?
There's two. The main one's talking about themselves.
Okay.
Talking about themselves. No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah. That's my motto. No one cares.
No one cares. Yeah. No one cares until they care. If you didn't think I could add value with marketing, I wouldn't be saying it, right? Yeah. And if I didn't, then vice versa, or whatever that looks like. And I buy things because they solve a problem for me. That's it, And I use the cost of coffee analogy all of the time. Like, we went into Starbucks earlier, actually, got coffee on the way here. Yeah. If I'd have walked into Starbucks and said, can I get a latte and a whatever my daughter drinks, and they said, yeah, but you know that like our CEO lives in LA and our beans are farmed in Colombia, I'd be like, no. I've got to be somewhere. Can I have my coffee, please?
Yeah, and solve my problem.
Yeah, and that's what's happening with everyone. And it's social media. It's catch-22, right? Because what happens is young businesses start and they go online and they see influencers talking about themselves and all that stuff. And there's a big difference between personal brand and business marketing, right? And what they do is they then jump onto TikTok and they jump onto Instagram and Facebook when they're selling to businesses. Yeah. And then what they do is they talk about themselves. And our business built 45 websites last year. And everyone that we reviewed when they came to us said, this is what we do. We're a 5th generation building. I didn't ask. No one cares.
Yeah.
How can you solve my problem? And it's like, what do you do? And how does it make my life easier? And that's the key. How does it make my life easier? Stop talking about yourself. It's not about you. It's not about you. You are a vehicle to get your client from where they are to where they want to be. And if you can't articulate that very, very quickly and easily, you'll lose them. Any friction you put in the way, any confusion, you confuse, you lose, right? Any confusion that you put in the way, they will just go and use somebody else.
Yes.
And I just to caveat that, people do not buy the best service.
No.
They don't. They buy the one that's articulated the clearest. So if your competitor is not, and I see it all the time actually, it's one of the reasons that bad tradesmen get work, is because they articulate what they do very clearly and how they solve their client's problem very clearly. If you're talking about yourself, it's like going on a date and then sitting there talking about themselves for an hour. Stop talking about yourself is the first and foremost, and for brands as well. The brands do it as well. Everybody does it in construction. So that is the quickest thing that you can do that will move the needle.
It's so easy though, isn't it? It's so like when
you say that, I'm not so sure.
Well, what I mean is like it's so easy to like it's just a natural thing because if you're in the business, you go, I know exactly what we do, definitely. And I feel like everyone needs to know what we do, and it's like it's such a simple thing to be able to just go like, oh, we do this and we do that, and you know, Tom does this over here, and I know, and it's just as simple where it's like you go, well, it's quite hard to sort of backwards deconstruct that into like, what does that do for the person that we're trying to do this for, and how does that work? And one of the things that I see a lot in like LinkedIn and stuff. LinkedIn's my jam. That's my favorite platform, even though everyone hates it.
It was mine for a long time.
Yeah, I still love it. I still, because it's such a good. I think it's still good. I think it's personal brand's amazing. I think anything that's actually like a branded page, it's toss.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of thing of like you see the thing that's helping X business do X, and you just see that constantly. I'm like, no, that sounds rubbish as well. So it's trying to find that balance of being like differentiating, but also still solving the problem for your customer and stuff. Really tricky.
That's it, messaging, right? That's why messaging is so important as well, right? So ours is construction, marketing and sales. It actually works because that is what we do, and that's how we solve your problem, right? If you put in plumber from Essex, oh, it's sweet.
Yeah.
There's about 3 million other options to choose from, right? Yeah. So messaging is so important. And until you've got that nailed, and I agree with what you said as well, it's like standing inside a bottle and not being able to see the label. Yeah. When you're a business and you're in the day-to-day and you're so busy with the day-to-day, it's really hard to understand and show empathy and compassion for your ideal client. Yeah. But until you do that, you won't scale. We've got the data on it, so you won't do it.
So I'm a tradesperson, Lee, and I want I need to grow my business. I want to grow my business, and I come to you and I say, Lee, I want some fucking leads. Yeah. What are you going to tell me?
You got the wrong guy.
Because that's what's happening, right? We're seeing loads and loads of trades businesses being like, I want leads. We're seeing marketing gurus saying, I can get you leads and stuff like that. Yeah. You have a sort of contradictory approach to kind of to what needs to happen before leads, even if leads are important at all.
Absolutely. Like leads are the end of the process. Content and leads are the end of the process, right? And this is the bit that people really struggle to get their head around. You know, if you came to me, I mean, everyone does. They always come to me and say, I want leads. Can you get me leads? And the first thing I ask them is, well, what does your business look like, right? Because what happens is companies start and then they get a bit busier and they get a bit busier and the company owner becomes the bottleneck. Every time they get around the £500,000 mark, and the company owner is running around like a lunatic doing everything. They're dealing with clients, they're sending invoices that, whatever, they haven't got the processing systems in place. And they're stressed is what they are.
Yes.
Now what happens is if I turn on, because what we do works, if I turn on your paid advertising and I'll fill your pipeline up, what's that going to do? Yeah. That's going to send you over the edge. And I've had it 3 times now where client, and this was early on in our journey, but we filled their pipelines up, and they've stopped using my service because they haven't got the sales process in place. They haven't got the right team members in the right positions to then speed to lead, to close the deals. And what ends up happening is it's actually detrimental. Yeah. because they end up looking stupid. They end up getting a bad reputation for not serving, not responding to their clients quick enough. It's detrimental. So I won't run advertising for anyone until you've got the correct systems and processes in place to handle the leads, because I can get you leads. That's a fact.
Yes.
I've got the data. I can prove that. I can get you leads, but leads aren't the problem. It's never the problem. It's always messaging and positioning, and then it is 9 times out of 10 the sales process. Yeah.
Let's because positioning is my jam. I love positioning for brands specifically. So I'm interested to hear about what that looks like for tradespeople. You'd think it'd be the same problems, but it probably isn't. Like, why is that important? Like, what are we looking at there, and what can tradespeople potentially start looking to improve with positioning?
Because everyone's talking about themselves. That's straight away the problem, right?
Yeah.
But the way that you speak to, so I work with a lot of companies that do both B2B and B2C. Now, the way that you speak to a commercial director, and this is why we're different to everybody else, Dan, is because I understand how commercial directors, QSs, all of that stuff, right? But the way that you speak to a quantity surveyor is different to the way you speak to Mr. and Mrs. Jones that want solar installed on their roof, right? So it's a different conversation, and the reason is because they have different problems. Okay, so for example, if you're selling to a builder and a developer that is building houses to sell, he cares about his profit margin. All right, he's got to get his houses on the market. He's got to recoup all of his money. He's probably got development finance, which is hanging over him, which is why he needs it done so quickly. There's so many moving parts to that scenario. Whereas Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they've got a young family, right? If they haven't worked on their home, they might have to move out for a little while, incur extra rent. Just like it's totally different. You are talking 2 completely different languages. So when you try and throw a blanket over it, you land with nobody.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're like, we do X. It's like, well, I didn't ask. I want an extension built or solar panels put on or whatever that might be. I've got a newborn baby. I've got to do school runs with a 5-year-old. My husband's at work in London. I didn't ask what you're about. Yeah. How are you going to get my house to where I want it to be as simply and as easily as possible? And that is fundamental level. That is it. It's different. It's just we're talking different languages. So when you can differentiate your personas, then you can start to dissect. Okay, how do we show up and how do we talk to these people? And then it goes into where do we talk to these people and in what manner? And then you can start looking at advertising. But it's First of all, you got to figure out who you're talking to, and I guess the thing that I've always been fascinated about positioning is what you look like. If you look like a small business that's that can barely sort of hang on, and you do lots of little small gigs and stuff, and then you're sort of trying to get huge commercial projects. So on the surface it sounds like that's not going to be the right fit, right? Whereas I imagine if you look like a big outfit, you got slick looking professionals that have got real, you can tell they've got real industry knowledge and experience. You're more more likely to get those bigger commercial jobs potentially. So this is such an interesting point actually. I get a lot of people come to me saying I want big commercial projects, right? And I'll look at their marketing collateral and it looks like they've just started. Yeah. Everything's in the wrong frame size. Everything's their website talks about themselves. It's lumpy. They've made it. It's probably cost nothing. It's done it with AI. And it's what are you trying to do? And we spoke about this before we started this podcast. What are you trying to build?
Yes.
Because that dictates what you do next. Yeah. So if you are trying to get big commercial, with Thames Valley Brickwork as an example, we only ever I got up to 15 blokes and I stopped, went to film school. And when I restarted it, I only had 2 gangs. We only got up to eight guys. But every time I spoke to somebody about the business, they were like, oh my God, I thought you were huge. And we weren't at all. But I showed up in a way online which made me look good. So my website, no matter where you landed on Thames Valley Brickwork, whether it was the reviews on Google, whether it was the website, whether it was my social media, my LinkedIn, it looked the nuts. And it spoke about my client and my client's problems. So it didn't matter where you went, they'd resonate. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're such quick wins for small companies. It's sort your branding out, sort your messaging out. Get a website. If it was me, I'd be spending money as a new contractor or a young contractor, getting a slick website and paying money for photography for that website. The websites that we've built that have professional photos on them look brilliant.
Yes.
And it moves the needle. So there's little things you can do, but it's how do your ideal clients see you? What do they see? Where do they see you? And then what do they see when they get there? So important.
If you're a tradesperson that is somewhere in the middle, because there's this kind of thing where like, I don't want to turn down domestic, I don't want to turn down commercial, I like the small jobs, but I also like the bigger jobs and stuff. Where I think we've all been there in business, where it's like, I don't want to alienate myself from any type of work. In that, and therefore you kind of, it's that classic thing of like marketing to everyone, right? Which is not a great place to be. What would you say to those guys that are kind of like, well, I still want to do this and I still want to do that? Would you say still focus on one area and show up for those people, and that will trickle down to them anyway and stuff?
Not as a marketing strategy, I wouldn't. I think that is a real thing.
Yes.
So so for example, we built multi-million-pound houses.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, I got extensions, and they knew someone who knew somebody, right? I think you can do all of it. I say to people, you can do whatever you want,
yeah.
But you've just got to be very, very particular, like a sniper, and work out who you're talking to on what platform. So as a rule, and it's not, this isn't like gospel, right?
Yeah.
But as a rule, if you want commercial, you'll be on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And as a rule, if you want B2C, homeowners, you'll be on Meta.
And so you can show up differently for both platforms,
exactly.
Right?
What it will mean is you just have two campaigns.
Yeah.
You'll just have your B2B campaign, your B2C campaign, and some of them cross over. And I'll do an exercise with clients actually, where we get a whiteboard and put a line down the middle, and we do B2B on one side, B2C on the other side, and we write down all of the problems and get the team to brainstorm, write down all of the problems that they both suffer with.
Yes.
And wherever there's crossovers, I draw a line, and that content will relate on both platforms.
Yes,
because it's the same problems. But ultimately, you're just going to have to do two. We do what's called a marketing map. It's the first thing that we do with anybody we team up with. And we'll sit down for an hour. I've got an AI bot now that does it, but ordinarily we'd sit down for an hour and we'd just go into everything about your ICP. And then obviously off the back of that, you can then start to look at platforms and stuff. But you can do it. You just got to differentiate them. Because you can't throw a blanket over it unless you've done that exercise where you're talking about the things they both struggle with. So unreliable tradesman would be one of those things you could talk about on both platforms.
Yes.
Because homeowners struggle with that, and so do builders, developers, commercial managers, all that stuff.
It's quite a good tactic to sort of be to show up as the antidote for the thing that other people have experienced that's a negative, right?
100%.
We were talking about this just off air, but I've just been reading Stand the Fuck Out by Louis, I can't remember his last name now, French marketer. Really cool book, and he sort of like touches on this kind of thing of like your communication and the differentiation can be around the kind of rebelling against X, but it doesn't. But it can just be a concept. It doesn't have to be like we do stuff that's not the same as this brand because that brand's shit. Like that's kind of not a great place to be in marketing. It's not nice to be calling people out, but calling out a process or something like that. You're not hurting anybody by saying I'm the antidote to cowboy builders, because the cowboy builders aren't going to go, hey, stop talking about us. No,
you need a villain.
Yeah.
You need a villain. Every marketing campaign needs a villain. Yeah. It needs a bad guy. I'm very, very clear on mine. If you look at my social media, I talk about it all the time, right? It's my villain is marketing agencies that can't let a barn door in construction. And I'll talk about them and I use them. And the reason for that is people move away from pain more than they move towards pleasure. So, I will try, or homeowners, just use them as an example, will move away from getting ripped off more than they'll move towards, I need that extension doing, as an example, right? So if we can incorporate that in our marketing, what it does is it encourages them to take action. Yes. And that is a real strategy that we hang our hat on. It works. It absolutely works. Talk about the villain, talk about the bad guy. And the beautiful thing with trades businesses as well, your potential clients will offer you that information. Yes. Because people love talking about themselves, right? Yeah. So when you're in front of a client and you're talking to them about the potential project that you might do, the one you're pricing, say to them, like, what experience have you had with other people that do what I do? And they will tell you. That's content.
Yes.
That is I will be leading with that stuff.
I love the idea, because people think about research. Research is kind of like a scary concept for a lot, especially brands, but a lot of businesses, because I'm just like, how the hell am I going to go do research? And so everyone runs on gut instinct a lot of the time. But it's quite interesting because you can just you got a good customer, you ask them like a couple of really simple questions. What are the bad experiences that you had that have stopped you from working with a company like us, but aren't us? Yeah. what was the thing that made us stand out as being a good choice for this particular thing? And it's those two questions over like 10 different customers can give you a lot of insight, right?
So we've got part of a sales process that we do. We've got we utilize AI now. Obviously, it's it'd be silly not to. Every sales call I do is recorded, and I ask that question at the top of every call. Yeah, what's your experience like? What's prompted you to call me? And we've got a bot that we use for our content that writes our scripts, and I just feed it. I feed it that because then everything that we create is based around the issues and the problems that the potential client is having, right? Yes. So there's lots of ways you can do it, and there's lots of ways that can save you time as well now, especially with AI and chatbots and stuff. But ultimately, just speak to your clients, man. Your existing clients, the ones that you have, just ask them.
An interesting one that came up in this book, Stand the Fuck Out, as well, was speak to the people who nearly bought from you but didn't. And I think that's quite a hard pill to swallow. It's like, and a lot of the time, I imagine if you actually speak to them direct, they'll be too kind about like the reasons why they didn't work with you. But I think that's really a real fascinating insight into like, is there something specifically that, nothing wrong with you carry on with whoever you're picking. Is there something specific that you understood about my business that meant we weren't the right fit for this? Because I can work on that for the future. And I think a lot of people are too scared to do that.
Though, Dan, what that does is that challenges people's egos.
Yes.
And ego is one of the main reasons that businesses don't scale. I've had it all the time. I've parted ways with customers because of it. We've got a process where I've got another Chloe that works for us, and she actually
another Chloe.
No, Chloe 1 and Chloe 2.
Jesus.
She like, I get her to call clients that don't buy. I'm like, yes, exactly what you said. Let's get feedback. How am I supposed to move this thing forward if I keep making the same mistake, right? And tradesmen and trade business owners they're not trained salesmen, right? No. So they will be falling short in certain areas, and without that data, you can't move forward as a business. So that feedback's so important. So, but it challenges. No one wants to know what they do badly, do they?
No, but it hurts.
Yeah, but it's as a business, and I think there's a big distinction between entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that run small companies, right? And there's everything in between all of that stuff, right? But if you want to scale, like if you want to hit big numbers, that stuff is absolutely key. Because if there's a chink in your armor, if there's something that you're doing wrong, you put the best sales process in the world in place, can't you? If you're falling short, and I've got someone at the minute actually who's experienced that. There's a disconnect somewhere, and we're working really hard to work out where that disconnect is, and then fix the problem.
Love that. I think we've talked about positioning, and I love that concept. Positioning is something I'm really geeky about. Sales process is something that I'm not particularly geeky about. But you mentioned at the top end, that's a huge part of the sort of like how to actually generate more business and stuff. Can you talk us through kind of what that looks like for you, and how you work with your customers to figure that stuff out?
Yeah, for sure. And it's changed massively because I kept getting the same problem. So because people come to us and ask for leads, and we were primarily a lead generating company that, there was other stuff that we'd done, messaging and position was one of them. But I noticed that we'd fill the pipelines up and they just weren't selling. Yeah. And then I had a real internal conflict because I'm like, well, if I'm getting them the leads, I'm delivering the marketing. So if I'm sort of messaging, positioning, getting them the leads, and I'm doing the closing, I might as well just run the business. Yeah. So I've had lots of conversations with lots of different people and about this exact issue. And we're just about to roll out. We're basically going to become the leading sort of sales and marketing trainer in construction alongside our Done For You service. And we're going to go into businesses and implement our systems and give their staff training on how to close, so we can take them from lead to close right the way through the whole process. But ultimately, like, speed to lead's really important. If you get a lead come in, you need to be back in touch with that the same day. Yes. We've got a bot that we're in the process of setting up. It's been proven. I know someone else that uses it, and it's a great bit of software. And actually, if someone sends an inquiry through your advertising in the evening or over the weekend or whatever, it'll get them booked into your diary straight away.
Love that.
And then we've got VSLs that go out as well. So if you book into our diary, you'll get a VSL that tells you exactly what we do and how we do it and how we can help you with proven results. And again, if they don't watch X amount of the video, I cancel the call because I don't want to waste anybody's time, right? There's no point in us all jumping on calls if it's not a good fit, right? Yeah. So that pre-qualification piece is really, really important. Again, we're all busy. How do we get maximum return on time? And there's stuff that you can do to help that. VSLs are one of them.
Can you explain what a VSL is?
Video. So it's a video that they'll get in the simplest of terms. It's a video sales letter.
Okay.
But effectively what will happen is it'll be on an automation. And when you book into my calendar, it will trigger it.
Okay.
And they'll get it straight into their inbox. So look, please watch this. We'll cancel the call if not. And we've got some software that tracks how much of the video has been watched. So if they've only watched 10 minutes out of a 20-minute video, it's like, listen, it's at the right time, but come back when it is. Ultimately, we want to be getting on calls with people that are serious, right? And there's other things you can do. There's lots of other things you can do. And we mentioned it already, but because 80% of your audience aren't ready to buy just yet, they're window shopping, they know project's coming up, they know that they're going to want to do this at some point. It might be raising finance, raising funds. We want to be getting these people into our ecosystem so we can nurture them and sell to them and whatever that looks like further down the line, right? Well, one of the ways to do that is by lead generators. So, you can run paid advertising, talking about B2C now, but you can run paid advertising. For example, for our business, it was when we were doing a lot of websites, it was get a free website and social media review within 24 hours. Okay, so we'd send that back. Now, if someone's submitting their details, we get their details, we get their phone number, their email address, and their business name. If they're submitting details for a website review, they probably need a new website.
Yes.
Right?
Makes sense.
If you've got a rough cost calculator on your website and you're a main contractor, and someone's filled that in and they've given you all of that, their address, their number, their email, at some point they're probably going to want an extension building.
Yes.
Right? So there's so much money on the table with potential clients that aren't ready to buy. And then what you do is you put them in a nurture sequence. And then, so for example, if someone doesn't buy with us, what will happen is they'll get an automated email, just testimonial after testimonial videos.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, these guys are legit. So when I am ready to buy, I'm coming back.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It's social proof and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
Really
but
cool.
it's all subjective depending on what you sell, depending on who your ICP is, your ideal client. But it's 2026, man. Automations, video content. There's a lot of ways to gain trust before you get on a sales call.
It's that kind of concept of, I think there's perhaps a misconception, but perhaps it's somewhat true. I think it's somewhat true for everybody that tradespeople aren't super tech savvy, and they're not nerds often for the stuff that we like to do. But also some of them are. And the ones that want to scale typically are, right?
Yeah.
If you're passionate about trying to grow a business and stuff, you'll look into growing a business, I think. And I imagine they're a good client for you. But this we're in the age now of like, you can do a lot of your admin individually and not have to really put a lot of, you don't have to build a huge team around you to get the results that you need. You don't have to have someone in the office like 24/7 responding to stuff. You can kind of do that on your own time. And tradespeople especially are really used to doing everything on the fly anyway. It's kind of like a quick phone call here or there to catch up. But if you can automate stuff, which means that you're getting back to your customers, that there's a process in place and that you've got something to do. One of the worst kind of pieces of feedback from around tradespeople is a general sort of thing is like communication. Yeah. Bad communication is like prevalent in the trades because there's no systems in place, right? And then, like you say, like if you're not getting back to your leads, you've got no leads.
It's like, I love construction, but it's 10 years beyond every other industry. It really is. Like even when I talk about CRM systems, people's head fall off. They're just like, I don't even know what that is. And it's, for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's a management system where everything lives. Okay, so your leads come into there. You can do all your emailing, you can phone from there. We do all of our phone calls from there as well, and everything's captured. Just by doing that, you don't have to put everything on post-it notes on your kitchen table, right? It's all in one place, and you can sort your automations out from there as well. And I mean, the possibilities of them are absolutely endless. All the data is tracked, which is really, really important. But trying to explain what that is and why people need it falls short.
Yes.
Because they are very, especially with young businesses, people that are just starting up. And I love what you said there as well about the entrepreneur side of things and people that are trying to build successful companies. We're seeing that. And we're actually seeing that a lot of people are now coming to us with some of this stuff in place. Yeah. Because the younger entrepreneurs that are coming through, I'm 38, right? But there's a lot of lads coming through that are like 24, 25, 26. They've grown up on social media. They understand the benefits of processes and systems. Now, what I say to people that are maybe my generation or around my sort of age is that one of the quickest things you can do is hire, whether it be your partner or a family member or whatever that looks like, or even just a VA, like, you know, you can get a reasonably priced VA and get them up to speed.
Yes.
Because what they can do, once you've got the processes and systems in place, they can manage a CRM system, they can make sure all the invoicing is done, and they can manage your social media organically. If you're running organic social media and you're not doing paid advertising, that is one of the quickest wins.
Yes.
Is pay a VA, get them training, and that's one of the things we provide, get them training, and get them up to speed, and they will just cover off all of it. And you can just carry on with what you're doing. And as you grow, you've got the processes and systems in place with your CRM systems, automations, all of that stuff. It becomes much easier.
Love that.
Then you can bring somebody in full-time or part-time or whatever that looks like.
And that's the start of scaling, right?
100%.
And then eventually you can kind of, if you want to, you can separate yourself from the work.
Yeah,
daily work.
Businesses will never, ever, ever scale. And I've got the data for it whilst they don't have the processes and systems in place. Forget leads. If you are a business owner and you are doing everything, you don't even need to look at leads.
No.
It's so far away. I say so far away, it's probably like 4 to 6 weeks away if you nail it. But you need to be getting your processes and systems in place to buy back your time, to then allow you to do what you're good at, which might be going out and winning work, going out and getting in front of the clients, all of that sort of stuff. Do shoot days, go and do podcast or whatever that looks like, you know. But that stuff is impossible if you don't have the process and systems in place.
That CRM argument is massive. Like I was speaking to one of our clients is a company called Powered Now who do project management for tradespeople. Really cool app, lovely people. And one of the sort of things that they struggle with is like, oh, it's like, you know, £12.50 a month. I've got to pay that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we pay £400 a month for our CRM minimum. And that's like, and then we've also got project management to the side of that. And I use Pipedrive, which is another kind of CRM. And there's all these different things. And we're only like 7 people. And I'm like, but it's so important for our business. And I'm like, £12.50 for you, well, whatever. And I'm sure there are more expensive ones, but they'll scoff at that. And I'm like, it's crucial. And these are the people that often that when you're like their idea of a CRM is leaving like WhatsApp messages unread so you can check them later. That's about as far as their admin goes. 100%. And I'm like, I've been there.
You touched on something so important there, and it is probably one of, I'd say, it's one of, other than messaging and positioning, it's one of the biggest issues that I see, and it's mindset. It's a fixed mindset around money. I had it myself. This is a real thing has been a real thing for me in the past. To scale a business, you need to invest.
Yep.
Like if you're we've had a lot of brands in the same mindset actually, where they've come to us and was like, don't lose us a single client. We've got a shoestring budget, but I want X. Yeah. And it's like that. They don't live in the same street. You know, if you want to scale a company, you've got to invest in the right places, which is why I'm big on making sure you put the money in the right places rather than just, you know, chucking shit at the wall and hoping something sticks, right? But it's that mindset thing is a real problem. And you tend to see the ones that stay stuck are the ones that can't look past that, and they scoff at 12 quid. And it's like, well, if you're trying to get, and I always lead sales conversations with it. Like, have you got a revenue number? Like, oh yeah, well, I'm at 400K and I want to hit £1 million within the next 12 months. I'm like, so doable. Yeah. That's so doable. But so process and systems. Yeah. All right. You're going to have to look at your content. You're going to have to look at where we're putting our paid advertising. There's an investment that goes with that. Yes. You're not adding 600 grand in revenue if you're scared to spend 12 quid on an app. All right. So you've got to, and it goes back to the conversation at the start. What do you want? Like, what are you trying to build? Do you know what I mean? Like, that dictates what you do next with all of it. Yeah. You know? I imagine if there was a way of framing this to a tradesperson, like, okay, you want to go from 400 grand to 1.5 million in the next 12 months. Do you think you can cope with that amount of work with the systems that you have in place now? I imagine the answer would be no, right? And surely you wouldn't be so delusional to be like, yeah, like same team, same crew, same processes. A lot of them don't know what 1.5 mil looks like. Yeah. So a lot of them don't have a reference point. So they'll be running around like lunatics. I just need zeros, I just need work, and when you break it down and be like, okay, this is what that looks like if you want that. And they're, oh, okay, well, I'll come back when I've got some money to invest. So it's like, but then that's why the VSLs are so important. Yeah. Because it's like, let's sift out the people that don't actually want to scale, they just want zeros and want to be seen to be doing well. we can't work with those guys.
No.
There's an ego problem there. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, for us, it's really important that we work with company owners that get it, that see the vision. No, okay, to get from here to there, I need to do X, and then they execute. And the mindset is really, really important. I'd say it's the biggest thing that holds people back.
I was with some guys the other day, and really, really great business, really great guys. They're doing incredibly well. But I was surprised that they didn't have a project management system. They didn't have anything. And these guys are pushing £1 million, or maybe just over. Let's assume that they're on £1 million revenue. £1 million revenue is very different for an agency than it is to construction businesses, because sometimes revenue is revenue, right?
Margins.
And margins and stuff. But we're not at $1 million in revenue, and it's a nice round number that I'm working towards. Because $1 million revenue typically looks like about 10 people. And well, one to 1.5 million is about 10 people in the agency, a real good mix of different creatives and crafts, and it's achievable as a founder-led agency. So that's my goal. I know that I don't really want to go much further than that, because you have to really scale up then. I'm not prepared to do that. But that might lead to an agency that kind of runs itself, so I can go off and do another thing, and have some fun. So that's kind of my goal. So these guys are like hitting £1 million, and they're like, oh yeah, they're just we just use maybe Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts. Like the amount of processes and systems and software that we have in place just to make the work. And we've only got 10 clients. It's mental.
So they'll push that as far as they can get it, and then they'll hit the ceiling, and they won't be able to scale. And listen, what I will say is, if you don't want to scale and you're happy as a small business doing it yourself, fair play to you. It goes back to what do you want? Again, every single time. Now, that's a really clear vision of what you've just said there. I've got something similar, right? I want to sell my business. My youngest daughter's 8. When she's 16, before she's 16, I want the agency sold and money in the bank, and I've got other plans, right? Got some other bits and pieces around that as well. But for me right now, just to put it into context for everyone else, for me, I want to travel the world, right? I travel Europe while my kids are young, right? Now, I have 10 days a month where I'm child free. So actually, what does that look like? Because for me to scale up to $1 million now, probably can't do that just yet. That's probably a couple of years away. So for me, it's actually 40k recurring is a good number for me. I know my margins. That allows me to live the exact life that I want. I want a life of adventure. I want a life of travel. I want to be going on expeditions and all of that stuff, right? So, and creating content and all of that stuff, for myself. So that dictates what I do next.
Yes.
Right. That dictates, and again, that's one of the reasons we went B2C, but do I get in bed with all of the brands? Do I build a great business like this? Or at the moment, do I continue to work freelance? Not freelance, sorry. Do I on the road? As in don't mean freelance, but do I continue to work like I am? Get a bigger van, because I live on the road full time, and explore as many places as I can with my kids and on my own. Get as many experiences as I can, and then 3 or 4 years time scale and sell. That makes total sense to me. Because I've spent a lot of time working on myself and recovery and all that stuff to know that's what makes me happy. Now, that's different to you, right? You've got a different goal to that, and that's cool. And every business owner listening to this will have a different goal and outlook. But what I see this all the time, and it ruffles people's feathers when I talk about it. Because of social media, people go, right, I just want to hit $1 million. No, actually, I saw someone the other day, I want to hit $5 million. And I'm like, why? Why? What are your margins and what are you trying to build? Because I've chased that. When I had the brickwork company, it was all about what I look like from the outside looking in and all of that stuff. What do I, on a personal level, when you do that exercise, I cannot tell you the stress that it removes. Because I'm like, okay, well, if that's the number that I need, let's work back from that. Okay, well, that's so doable within the next 12 months, right? Problem solved. I can now go and enjoy my life whilst running a business that's really helping other people and live the life that I desire.
Talk to me about, we're about ready to wrap this up, Lee. This has been super, super valuable. talk to me about a case study, like your best, maybe it doesn't have to be the best, a really, really good scenario where you've worked with a customer and everything's fallen into place and kind of what that looked like. And can you talk us very briefly about what that structure was?
Yeah, we use a really simple one. We've got loads of them, but we use a simple one. So a contractor came to me, was doing about a mil in turnover. Same problems, right? Was doing everything. It was chaos. Everything was written on Post-it notes, all of that stuff. He's just got taken a 7-figure exit. We changed his messaging and positioning and implemented a few processes and systems, and that was it.
That's it. Super simple.
It sounds stupid because it's so simple. This stuff isn't difficult. It's just clarity and putting the right people in the right places. But I say he could not believe it, and he didn't even know that he could sell his company. That was a conversation we had together. He was like, I'll get it valued, and then he got the number.
Wow.
They came back with the number that he wanted. And we added a couple of mil revenue first over probably 16, 17 months.
Yes.
And then he took the exit. He exited last week.
That
was the first one. But we've got loads of those case studies, just by sorting the messaging and positioning, you will increase your revenue. That is a fact. As long as you're on the right platform.
That's really, really cool. Aside from messaging and positioning, let's say we've got a tradesperson that's looking to not quite ready to go down that level first. Are there some initial early steps that they can do that are also going to be of benefit to them, like almost like mini steps? Like let's assume that they're not quite ready to, like, let's say, pick up the phone, speak to you guys, messaging and positioning. They can probably look into that. Are there any other things that you sort of think this is also, this is a nice to have, and it will move the needle somewhat?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to want to so bear in mind, most people don't place an order from seeing you once, right?
Okay.
So social media is, how can I say it? Social media is like where they might find you. They might stumble across you on social media, but they're going to go to your website.
Yes.
Okay. It takes, I think the data is like, it takes like 8 touch points now for them to place an order.
Yeah, I'm sure it used to be less than that. I think it's
no, for sure it is. And there's stuff that you can do as well. You can put like Microsoft Clarity on your website and see, you can check all the data on Microsoft Clarity and Google Analytics 4. But without going into all of that stuff, you just need to make sure that wherever they find you, you look the part and you are saying the right thing.
Yes.
Okay. So if you sell to homeowners, you need to be talking about their problems wherever your marketing collateral is. Okay. Website is super important. If you're trying to win work for homeowners and you haven't got a decent website, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. AI has changed the game. Like, AI has got everyone distrusting. So that you need to gain their trust as much as you possibly can. And having a slick website for me is such a quick win. It's such a quick win. If they land there and the visuals look good and the messaging is correct, it's such a quick win. And then you can replicate that over your social media.
Yes.
If you haven't got a budget, and actually for a new business, actually, you're not ready to reach out to us, again, it goes back to that return on time.
Yes.
Because obviously it's finite when you're a young business, which is why you need to nail your ideal client, because it might be that you just have one message on one platform and that's it. And LinkedIn's great. If you're B2B, LinkedIn's great because it's actually not a creative platform. They actually penalise creativity. My creative reels don't do anything on there. But like talking heads do well, like founder-led stuff, testimonial stuff, day-to-day stuff does quite well on there. But you can do like 3 or 4 posts a week and a bit of outbound and really, really scale your company.
Do you know what? I think that's something that I was speaking to, again, yesterday I was speaking to one of my friends that works in construction, and he was like, I mentioned LinkedIn, he goes, do you think I need to be on this platform? I was like, yeah, I think LinkedIn gets slept on a lot, especially if you're looking, domestic stuff, maybe not so much. I think it's still relevant, but if you're looking to like big commercial projects and stuff, and if you know that your target market is X type of person in X type of business, you can search for them and find them and then connect with them and build that network, which I don't think you can't really do that on other social platforms. It's so
important. I see tradesmen all the time starting their businesses and they'll start on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
Yep.
And what happens is they end up driving all over the country because they can't be specific about the area. LinkedIn, I can go and get in front of whoever you want to work for straight away in your area. So over time, you can position yourself as the go-to in your area. We had an influencer he's got 2 million followers, who's driving all over the country for work. It came to me, I got him 750 grand worth of contracts in 2 weeks on LinkedIn on his doorstep.
Love that. Yeah.
Because you can be specific with who you talk to and how you talk to them. You know, you can go and get in front of commercial managers now, literally now. You know, and you use Sales Navigator as well, and it's like you can take it to the moon.
He looked at me because no, that was it. We were talking about a brand that I wanted to work with, and he mentioned the marketing manager there, and I didn't know who that person was, so I just did a quick search on LinkedIn. I was like, oh yeah, I can see that he's like he's the and there's also another person. He's like, oh, have you found him? And I was like, yeah, it's really easy. You just go to the brand and type in the brand and you can find the people. And he was like, I did not know you could do that. I'm like, how have you not like been on LinkedIn before? Yeah. It's amazing. It's such a good platform again for
I started the whole business giving LinkedIn coaching.
Yeah.
When I left the brickwork company, I put it up, I was doing some LinkedIn coaching. I was charging like 350 quid for 90 minutes. I was doing like 4 or 5 a week. And then it built from there, because then obviously content came into play and all that stuff. But it's still, I mean, there's not really any other, B2B, there's not really any other option. Now, there is an argument to say that you can run ads on Instagram, on Meta for B2B stuff as well, because these are people and they do scroll, right?
Yeah.
But I find that they do business on LinkedIn more so.
Yeah, I think you can build. I'm not great at personal brand at all. I'm working on it. But also but business development type stuff, again, like it's as and when it's more of a priority for me than anybody else. But you can really build systems on LinkedIn for stuff like that. And it's just about like you can isolate very specific people. But there's always been that kind of thing of like, should we really be focusing any kind of a paid strategy on LinkedIn? But I feel like LinkedIn's a very personal platform. I think it's like person to person. I think brand to person is less.
Yeah, but then, look, even in the brands, it's still people placing orders.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. If you do some research. Who do you want to work with? What are they posting? What do they struggle with? And then create content on that. And then when they post their next post, reach out, drop them a message. Oh mate, I loved your last post. Most people, and we'll just touch on this quickly if you've got time. What most people do, if you look at the funnel, I don't know if we'll touch on the funnel. So you got top of funnel is sell to click, right? So it's get people into this funnel. Don't sell to them. Don't try and get their money out of them. Don't try and send them anywhere. Just get the click, get the follow, get the like, whatever that looks like. And then you can start passing them down the funnel, right? Most people, what they do when they start their business is they start with middle of funnel content. They'll be like, this is us, and look, this client loves us. It's like, whoa, I don't even know who you are yet.
Yeah.
Like, you got to show me who you are before, right? So get them into the funnel, and you do that by skits or funny content, or just scroll stopping content, right?
Yeah, and like any value education stuff.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. And then you can start moving them down the funnel, and that's when you put client videos up saying, these were brilliant. I love to work with them. It's great. Google reviews, another one. And then you can start pushing them into the bottom of the funnel where you push for the sale. And it's like fear of missing out.
Yeah.
We've only got one space left until Christmas. We're booked up. Do you know what I mean? So there's, you can start to put a whole strategy behind it. But just don't sell straight away.
Love that.
Try and build a relationship with someone before you sell them.
Really, really cool. I think we could do a whole episode on LinkedIn. I think it's a big thing, and I think a lot of tradespeople don't use it, but especially if it's like coming up into, if you're working towards like the more commercial sector, like it's a great.
If platform. I was a new business, I would be. Even if I was B2C, I'd be on LinkedIn.
Yeah, because
there are 8 touch points, I'd be on LinkedIn. I'd make sure my website's meant. But you can still get in with architects. You can get in with suppliers. You can get like everyone's on there that you need, and it's a no-brainer for me. It's so easy to use once you know how.
How can people find you, Lee? If this episode has been like, do you know what? This is my guy. I need to speak to him. Like, what's the best place to start?
Level Up Media is on Instagram, and my personal brand Lee Fuller is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably the easiest place actually. Just drop me a message on LinkedIn. But yeah, Instagram or LinkedIn.
Check it out. And do you guys have like a sort of like a initial onboarding type thing? Is there like almost like a discovery call type thing that people can look into?
So usually what happens is our process is a lead will come in, so whether that be through a message or through paid ads, and I'll jump on a call with them and just ask them some basic questions. All right, what are you trying to do? What's your budget? What's your time scale? That sort of stuff. Really, really basic stuff. What's your revenue? And then that will dictate where we go next. Okay, so if you're a new company, it'll go straight over to coaching. Or if you are doing some decent revenue and you want to supercharge it, then we'll look at your ads. But ultimately, it's an intro call on the phone. I'll just give you a buzz, and then if it's right and we're the right fit, because we don't work with everybody, is the reality. Then I'll book you in a video call, and we'll jump on for half an hour. And in between that, you'll get a video with exactly how we work.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's got to be the right fit, because if it's not, nobody wins. All right. If it's, if you want results yesterday, but you've got a big piece of work to do to get your messaging and positioning sorted, it's not for me.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. And that might come further down the line or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And there's lots of agencies that will do it, but just be careful. If they don't have results in construction, don't go anywhere near them.
Yes. Yeah. It's mad that I've it's okay to flip and move your like niche and your market and stuff like that. But I know of they might be doing great work. I can't actually speak to this at all. But there's a video production company that have been running these ads for ages, and it was like how to get more video clients. And then all of a sudden I started seeing how to get more construction clients. Like, whoa, you reversed that one. Yeah. And I was like, that's a bit weird.
I get a lot of people copying me.
Yeah.
Because they know I'm from the industry and we get clients and it works. And I never have problems with leads. I had another guy put up ex-bricklayer SEO expert. And I'm like, you never laid a brick in your life and SEO's dead. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but what's happening? And actually I had someone come to me from him and was just like, he's messed it up for me. I'm like, that's because he's not sorted his messaging and positioning. It's all over the place. But there's a lot of chances, and it's hard for us because people come to us very skeptical, which is why we have to hang our hat on testimonials and actual results.
Yeah.
But just chip away at it. If you're a young company, just chip away at it.
So, but people can contact you if they're looking to scale up their business, if they're looking to get more work, and kind of become a more successful business, however that looks. They can contact you. They can jump on a call just to see if that's the right fit. No kind of pressure at those early stages, and they can see. Not
at all. I'm from the industry. I understand the game. Like I get it. I know where you are. If you're a small company or you're scaling up, we've got loads of companies that are scaling. I get where you are. I know where you're at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just for clarity, so we can coach you and your in-house team, or you and whatever that looks like. And we can give you every strategy and system that we use for our paying clients and what works for us. And we can just say, here you go, and we can implement it for you if you wish. And then done for you, we can just run your ads, get everything in place. And
perfect.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you feel like you wished that I'd asked you that I haven't? Is there anything, any sort of parting words or anything that you wanted to like bring up as a part of this?
No, I think we covered it all, Dan. I think the overriding thing for me is the fastest way to lose money is running ads before you've done what we've discussed. And I see it all the time. You don't run ads until you have nailed everything else.
I think it's a really refreshing look, because every single ad that a tradesperson is getting now is get leads, and you're the antidote to that. And I think that speaks highly for, kind of the long game of running a business, right? And I think that's really, really cool, because leads doesn't necessarily mean better business, right?
100%. Quite the opposite, actually. The opposite. If you get leads and your business isn't set up for it, it is absolutely detrimental. You'll run around like a blue ass fly. You'll annoy the whole team. Like you'll look stupid to the clients. It's leads and content at the end. That's the end of the process.
Lee, thank you so much for coming on, mate. It's been really, really insightful. I've learned some cool stuff today. Like I say, we don't do marketing for the trades. It's sometimes I'm surprised how compatible it is across from brand to trade, but also there's some unique stuff there. There's some unique personal stuff that I think is really. There's a lot more psychology I think involved with.
It's human behaviour.
Yeah,
it's human behaviour. It's how do people buy, and how can you get from A to B as quickly as possible with as least friction as possible.
But the idea of positioning, I think, is like, you think big brand stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do a 10 grand like brand positioning workshop with you guys, and it's basically how you look, how you feel, how you're perceived, how you communicate, all that kind of stuff. But a tradesperson can do exactly the same thing, and it's just as important. And that's kind of it's cool that these kinds of processes can translate on a different scale. And obviously, you ain't going to do 10 grand repositioning.
That's actually just to end on that. So I built it's called Next Level Contractor. I think we touched on it previously in the messages before we'd done this. And it was basically a really low level, really low ticket service. It was all on demand, and they got a call with me once a month. But I noticed that they weren't doing it. They weren't taking it seriously enough because it was such a low price point. What we've got now is we do a cohort every month.
Okay.
So for up to 10 company owners, we're at an affordable price point, decent amount of money, but affordable price point. And we give them the keys to the kingdom, as it were, and say, look, this works, do this. And we're having good results with that because the price point is enough for them to invest and do the work.
Yeah.
But it's not going to break the bank. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. Look, if you're time poor and money poor with a fixed mindset, I can't help you. If you are anything else, then we've got something that can do the business for you for sure.
That's wicked, Lee. Thank you so much, mate. I think we'll need to get you on again at some stage because I feel like there's elements that we've not been able to cover within the time. How have we done time-wise, Tom?
1 hour.
That's brilliant.
Perfect,
We've been amazing. Thank
Nice.
you, Lee. You're a superstar. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much for having me.